Pauline, Pauline,
Pauline.
she's in the hospital too. I don't know what kind.
Pauline's daughter.
Kelly Roberts' daughter. The one that runs Chester Day store.
My coworker would be twins, Mallory.
Mallory.
She's officially on bed rest. She has been told that she does have gestational diabetes. She's also very anemic. And they're just hoping that the baby's wait until at least June when she's supposed to have her planned C-section.
Yeah.
But it's been a difficult pregnancy.
I would like to have the graduates, or I know,
Don't have some.
well, I was just thinking,
Are you gonna have some graduates?
yeah, I'm running a blank. What's her name, Craig?
Oh, her.
Each other. Names.
Yes, Avery. Yes, because I know when our two congregations were combined, they were all, not all of them, but quite a few of them were getting ready to leave and start college, and now they're graduating college. So just to guide them on their new, on whatever new endeavors.
Okay.
they're gonna embark on.
There's Avery and Jeremy and Abby that graduated from Graceland.
Mm-hmm. Tammy, you do that?
Jeremy, boys.
That's bad. They weren't much older than Cammy when we started coming to Harlan.
You mentioned graduates, all of the high school graduates, a lot of them have already started partying and celebrating, and
No.
they're kept safe.
They don't do that, do they?
Keegan graduates from high school. Keegan.
Okay. All right, let's pause for a moment and offer our Heavenly Father, as we gather this day. We are celebrating the gift of motherhood. And there are those mothers, all the mothers throughout the world, need your loving, caring spirit to be with each and every one. And as they go through the struggles of raising their families and being the mother of the house and doing their responsibility, we ask that you continue to guide them, direct them, and be with them in all their days. We ask that you be with Sarah as she travels with her illness and that you know, be with her and give her comfort and be with the doctors and the nurses as they work with her as they bring her back to health. I ask that you be with Frank Titus and whatever he had heard yesterday, low blood pressure. Doctors might be able to find out what caused it to be able to make sure that she can bring this under control. We ask that you be with Greg and Dorothy as they head out on a month-long trip. Saturday, tomorrow. We ask that you protect them with safety, with much enjoyment, and be able to bring them back to us with the many testimonies. We ask also that you continue to be with Judy as she continues to heal and to get back on her feet. We ask and thank you for the blessing that you give her. We ask that you continue to be with her and with her all at this time. Charlie Foreman, as he prepares to search out his knee, that the doctors will be able to give him the right diagnosis and be able to prescribe to him what he needs to have done, and then ensure him that your spirit is with him and all will be well. We ask that you be with Angela, who is struggling with MS, and Lord, this is tough. There's just not, other than our prayers, and we ask that you take our prayers and make sure that you be with the doctors and those who care for her and be with her family at this time. Darlene and Marilyn Matthews, both fighting cancer. Lord, this is a tough one. And so we ask again that your healing and loving and caring spirit be with these two people at this time. We ask that you be with Valerie and Eric as they're fighting some sort of flu, and that they'll soon be back on their feet and running around doing those things in which they enjoy doing. Brittany, who was in an automobile accident, and dear Lord, those things are bad. They can mess up your body big time. So we ask again that you might make sure that your loving and healing spirit be flow throughout her body, and that also that you do with the doctors and nurses. The new instructor at the swimming, we ask that you be with her as she is a brave soul, and she has cerebral palsy, and she is also a great teacher, and so be with her and guide her and give her the strength and courage that it takes to be an instructor. We ask that you be with Colleen, God, and Mal, and that your spirit will touch and love her and let her know that you're with her and that all will be well. We ask that you be with Mallory as she's fighting this diabetes thing. Lord, as we go through and recognize that diabetes is a very awful thing. We recognize that her body and is in much need of attention. So we ask again that your healing and comforting spirit be with her at this time. Be with our graduates, both the college and the high school. And Lord, while this is an exciting time, this is a wonderful time, sometimes we feel a little excited when we start graduating, and sometimes our decision making might be less. So again, we would ask that you would help guide and direct them in the past, and sort of go and help guide them, give them the wisdom and not to make silly mistakes and go on and just party without any rhyme or reason. And make sure that safety is always in their utmost mind. Dear Lord, we offer all these up through thy son's name, Jesus Christ.
Before we open our hymnals, I was going to give a little bit of time if anybody had any joys or good news throughout the week that they want to share. I know yesterday we got to go out to the beach and spend a little time. Mom got to enjoy a little sun, and the girls were really excited that they got to go out and play in the water. It's a little cold, but after we get used to it, not too good.
I do have a little bit of good news. It's about Brittany also. Brittany's going to be coming here over her birthday. She's going to be here for a week. And Cheryl and Mallory are throwing baby shower. And so at the same time as good news, they're also inviting all of you to go to the baby shower on the 23rd.
23rd of this month.
And this month it's at 1 o'clock. It's at the Las Vegas Church.
Anybody else?
Well, I already had quite a Mother's Day. I got flowers and plants from children and emails. And one son who's in Qatar sent me on Facebook a little cup with the Mother's Day design on it. That was my Mother's Day from him. And a beautiful bouquet from Mr. Titus and cards. So I'm feeling really special now.
Our granddaughter Addison has really had a rough time reading. She has struggled with reading class for a long time now. And this, the other day, Friday, she got called into the principal's office. And first thing she thought was, oh, I've done something wrong, and we just took that reading test. I wonder. And he congratulated her. She had the highest score in reading on the 5th grade class.
That is. Anybody else? I know it's good news for us to have both grandmothers here, Grandma Molly and Grandma Rita. The girls were pretty excited about that. We'll go ahead, if you open your hymnals to 108. And now sing to our God, and we'll stand as Christina offers the invitation.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for allowing us to gather on this beautiful evening. Especially on this day, we ask that you hold all of our mothers up close to you. And we thank you for giving mothers to us, for their love, their comfort, their sacrifices for their children. And we pray that all those that want to be mothers can have that blessing in their lives. We also want to ask that you spread your love for us all over the world, especially to those that feel they have no love in their life. We thank you for all that you've done for us. And we ask that we are able to do for others as you have done for us. Thank you. We love you and we love our mothers. In your name we pray.
For our special music, it's just going to be Earl and Fred, because in order for it to be special, I didn't want to mess it up.
We chose this song for Mother's Day out of our new hymnal, and so it's new for us, and we've been working on it. But I'd like to speak just a little bit to you about this. It talks about three mothers, and two of them you'll recognize. One was the mother of Moses, who was lining the basket to keep the baby dry, and the last verse was the mother gave birth in a manger. And those you recognize, the second verse, it speaks of a mother who made a jacket. And this mother was Hannah. And Hannah was an older lady who had never had any children. She'd been barren. Her husband was married to Hannah, and also he had another wife. And his other wife had children, and every year they went to the temple, and the high priest blessed the children and made over them and so forth. And Hannah came to the Lord one day and made a vow. Let me just read you what one of the comes out of the Bible. It says, Hannah made a vow saying, O Lord Almighty, if you will only look upon your servant's misery and remember me and not forget your servant, but give her a son, then I will give him to the Lord all the days of his life. She went home and told her husband of the vow she'd made, and the Lord blessed her with a son. His name was Samuel. And when he was weaned and ready to depart from his mother, she took him down to the temple, and there he lived with the high priest Eli. And we have the books First and Second Samuel as a result of this. So this is the second verse. You wouldn't recognize this as you would the first A motherland of dwelling, a motherland of pasture, to keep her baby dry. She rocked him on the river, lest he awake and cry. She let a princess name him, her son that he might live. God's people had a leader, she had so much to give. A mother sewed a jacket, lined in the softest wool. She kissed her little boy child, her cup of blessings full. She brought him to the temple, where he would serve and live. God's people had a prophet, she had such faith to give. A mother had a baby in manger lined with straw. Then in a shepherd's story, his lawful God foresaw. She nurtured him and taught him the way that he must live. God's people had a Savior, she has such love to give.
Today we remember the people of Sudan in our prayers. Africa's largest country in land area, Sudan is dominated by the Nile River and its tributaries, with mountains rising along its Red Sea coast and along the western border with Chad. Since independence in 1956, a North-South war has dominated Sudan's history, pitting Arab Muslims with northern desert against African Christians. The country remains politically unstable. Sudan has also faced large refugee influxes from neighboring countries, mainly Ethiopia and Chad. Armed conflict, poor transport infrastructure, and lack of government support have chronically obstructed delivery of humanitarian aid. As we engage in the compassionate ministry of Christ, we seek just and peaceful communities for the people of Sudan and all nations. Oh God, we pray for this community, the nations of our world, and uphold the people of Sudan in our prayers. Grant wisdom and strength to all who work for just and peaceable communities for all people. We want to continue in the spirit of peace by living with others in the world. May all people tire of violence as a way to solve problems. May all have greater trust and faith in the ways of love as Jesus and other great teachers have shown to the world. May we walk in the footsteps of the Prince of Peace until the lion lies down with the lamb and all humankind has beaten their swords into plowshares and spears into pruning hooks. Grant us the Spirit to help us establish peace from this moment on. We ask for these blessings in the name of the one who is a model peacemaker, Jesus Christ. Amen. Extra peace.
Got a poem here I want to read, and it's called "Thank God for Our Mothers" by Julia Hunt. If life were without water, where would we be? If life were without mothers, there would be no you or me. We all need to take hold of how precious life really is, and not take for granted the gift of love and the ability to give. Thank you to God for creating us all, for giving us our mothers, so we can stand proud and tall. Humans are no accident, no mistake, or no error. We sometimes live our lives in fear of this, even to the point of terror. But when the truth is told and recognized by all, God does not create rubbish. He knew what he was doing when he created me and you. But the best gift of all is given us loving, caring mothers who love us unconditionally through and through. None of us are perfect. That includes ourselves and family. Hold on to how precious we are, and thank God for our mothers. Amen. And grandmas too. While we honor all our mothers with words of love and praise, but we tell about their goodness and their kind and loving ways. We should also think of grandma. She's a mother too, you see. For she mothered my dear mother, as my mother mothers me. Author of that. I give special thanks to my mom. She's always been there for not only me, my family, but for everybody. So on this special Mother's Day, thank you.
We give for many reasons, and then as we take up the offering, I'd like you to reflect back why you give and the reasons you give and what you hope to accomplish with your gifts. If you guys haven't thought over those plans for the monies that have been given and the reasons why we give, Lord, we know there are many needs in the world and many of those that we seek to meet with our gifts. We ask, Lord, that you make these monies go farther than what we could ever make them go, and that you good to bring your kingdom to this world. We ask, Lord, that's something to express that.
If you would, open your hands to number 80. We'll As many of you know, Pat will be bringing a message today, but I wanted to share just real quick. The theme was love one another. And she shows many ways how she loves one another in the community or in the church here. And I'll always remember her taking her time, and we shared quite a few stories back and forth. But the time that she took to teach me my priesthood classes and the love that she showed me, and there's many of you in the congregation that do that, but I just want to especially thank Pat for doing that and the love that you showed in Pat for doing that.
That was my honor. Welsh mothers, there's so much that we have to share. And I thought as we sang this last song, that this day is a communion, isn't it? Is where we get to share in some of our deepest love and our first love. Because when we're told love one another, the first people that loved us was our mother. Even before we were born. I remember son that while I was carrying him, I would play music, mostly concerts and things, which is why he's the one that likes that type of thing. But before he was born, to him, and read him stories. By the time I got to the fourth and fifth ones, they were lucky if they got taken care of all right. But it's been such an honor to me to be able to be a mother. And those of you that are older in the church remember what the mothers in Israel. And I don't know whether you remember that or not, or I'm just too old. But that was women in the church who gave their time, maybe in small ways and maybe in very large ways, to be a mother to a young person, or to be a mother to a child at a time when they were in need. Now, I got into my files and there was a folder that says Mother's Day on it. And inside actually were two sermons, and both of them were sermons that Jim had given. And I was reading through those because I was hoping that something would inspire me. And I got to one of them, and Jim was talking about his mother. And so I thought it only proper, because it was his mother, that Jim comes up and shares this with us. Jim, would you please? Yeah.
I said, you want this?
Yeah. You know?
I'm old and slow. Yes, ma'am. That's the reason we've been together 59 years. Here you go. Where do you want this? Mother's do a lot for us, and I think back on my mother as she prepared the food for us to eat. She turned a house into a home, and she mended our family's wounds. And she counseled us when we faced disappointment. She cheered us all when we did something well. And perhaps the greatest contribution of all, she instructed me about life. I'm sure your mother did the same for you. In Proverbs 6:20 says, "My son, keep thy father's commandments and forsake not the law of thy mother." Now, most of you know what law of mother means. Mother's taught us a lot about life itself, and I'd like to share a few things that my mother taught me. My mother taught me to meet a challenge. What were you thinking? Answer me when I talk to you, and don't you talk back to me. I mean, that was a challenge. Mother teaches us contradictions. Shut your mouth and eat your supper. Mothers teach us perseverance. You're gonna sit there until you eat every last bite of that broccoli. My mother taught me about foresight. Things like, make sure you wear clean underwear in case you're in an accident. My mother taught me about logic. If you fall out of that tree and break your neck, don't come running to me. My mother taught me about maturity. Eat your vegetables or you'll never grow up. My mother taught me about religion. Jim, you better pray that stain comes out of the carpet. My mother taught me about medicine. If you don't stop crossing your eyes will freeze that way. She also taught me about healing. Jim, you're breathing a scab on the end of your nose. And my mother taught me to think ahead. If you don't pass that spelling test, you'll never get a good job. My mother taught me to meet a challenge. What were you thinking? Answer me when I talk to you, and don't you talk back to me. My mother taught me contradictions. You may have already. Yeah, I somehow got crossed that thing. My mother taught me about contortionism. Just look at the dirt on the back of your neck. Huh? Okay, Mom. Okay, my mother taught me about genetics. You're just like your father. Mother taught me about weather. Your room looks like a tornado hit. My mother taught me humor. When that lawnmower cuts off your toes, don't come running to me. And my mother taught me about my roots. You think you were born in a barn? Mother taught me about anticipation. You just wait till your father gets home. My mother taught me about time travel. If you don't straighten up, I'm going to knock you into the middle of next week. And what I heard here just lately was from a mother. I brought you into this world and I can take you out. My all-time favorite. One day you're going to have kids. And I hope they turn out just like you. Then you will see what it's like.
Thank you. With apologies to his mother, who was one of the sweetest women I've ever known.
It's on a good side of that.
We all, if we would want to stop for a few minutes. We all have some favorite memory. And maybe some others that are not too favorite memories in our family. My mother, who got married very young, and I was the oldest child, so I had a really interesting child life with a child. And she coined the phrase, you know what, I lost it. Here, let me think for a moment. But anyway, she coined a phrase before it got here, which was tough love. And so I, like I said, have a lot of interesting memories of my mother. But one thing for sure, she was there for me in every way, in everything that she could think of, that she could do to try to make me the best person that I could be. And I appreciate that so much. In today's theme, John 15, 9 through 17 is used. And Christ is speaking, as the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. Continue ye in my love. If you keep my commandments, you shall abide in my love, even as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. These things have I spoken unto you, that my joy might remain in you, and that your joy might be full. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. Greater love hath no man than this, that he lay down his life for his friends. You are my friends, if you do whatsoever I command you. Henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant knows not what his master does, but I have called you friends, for all things that I have heard of my Father I have made known unto you. And here's the part that really, really struck me and intrigued me. You have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you that you should go forth and bring forth fruit, that your fruit should remain, that whatever you should ask of the Father in my name, he may give it to you. These things I command you, that you love one another. As I said before, the first love that we have shared is with our mother. And if not our birth mother, with our adopted mother, or with someone, our grandmother, someone who has stood in the stead to show us what unconditional love is. Jim's mother was a very, very special person in that she took me into her children, into her heart, and never failed to say the right thing or to do the right thing. And so I have appreciated that so much. I appreciated my grandmothers and one great-grandmother who was half Cherokee, half Sioux and Cree Indian, that they shared with me, each one of them, at least one thing that I can remember that I've integrated into my life and that has great meaning. And that way, when I was told that God loves us unconditionally, that gave me an idea already of what that love means. Now, I asked Pam, helping Craig as I want to do sometimes, getting in other people's business, but I asked Pam to get something for each of the mothers. And Pam, if you would share that now. And then I told Craig afterwards what I was doing while he was busy planning the service. Think of all of the things that we learned through our mother. Things she told us, but the example that she was. And think of the other people who have mothered us at times. Thank you. Oh dear, it even has my initials on it. How at times we have wanted to share in the same way, to let somebody know. And many of us were teachers and are teachers. And how many times do you take on the role of mother? Maybe only for a teeny bit. With the students that are under your care. How many times do we have the opportunity? There's two little sayings or two little words that I look at every once in a while. Sometimes I say we have to do these things. And sometimes I say we get to do these things. You have to do these things, then it's a burden. But if you get to do these things, then it's a privilege. And I say so many times we get to be able to reach out and to help, or to reach out to admonish, to reach out and lend somebody a pencil because they didn't bring theirs. Little things maybe. But all those things are little acts of love. And this is what God says we're supposed to be about. And what Christ said, like my Father, I give you my life. And we each, in a way, give our lives. And I can't just say mothers, because goodness knows, each of you have some way that you reach out and that you love one another. And so today, I've got something else to give you because it's Mother's Day and I love that. Jim, would you give me, please?
We got it down pat, don't we, Nico?
One, let me take one. It's it.
You know. That's not much it.
So I am expecting everyone here that has the capacity here to do so, to spoil their mother the rest of the day. Because as we love one another, and as you love the mother, you know that they are going to treat you back. Oh, and give one for Cheryl also. And don't you eat it. No, no, no. Happy Mother's Day. Perfect. And if you will now please turn to page 359, we're one in the spirit.
Okay.
And after we finish the song, I'll do the reading or singing for it. This side will be the right side on the reading, and this will be the left side. And I also believe, Phoebe, did you want to share something after?
Yes, Tammy's going to take care of that.
In the Spirit, we are one in the Lord. We are one in the Spirit, we are one in the Lord. And we pray that our unity may someday be restored. and they'll know we are Christians by our love. By our love, yes, they'll know we are Christians by our love. We will walk with each other, we will walk hand in hand. We will walk with each other, we will walk hand in hand. And together we'll strengthen you, God is in our land. They'll know we are Christians by our love, by our love. Yes, they'll know we are Christians by our love. We will work with each other, we will work side by side. We will work with each other, we will work side by side. And we'll guide each one Satan to the same peace on sky. And they'll know we are Christians by our love. Yes, they'll know we are Christians by our love. Praise to the Father, and Son, and all praise to Christ Jesus, whose done with His Son, and all praise to the Spirit who makes us strong. And now we are Christians by our love, yes, they'll know we are Christians by our love.
Again, reading out your bulletins. When your willingness to live in sacred community as Christ's new creation exceeds your natural fear of spiritual and relational transformation, you'll become who you are called to be.
Go and create a sacred community.
Be courageous,
Be visionary.
be patient,
Be sure.
love overcomes, and it's to loving community that we are called.
Interesting.
Yep.
That was interesting.
Houston, we got a problem. Okay. I think I was scheduled for the 30th, so that we're going out of town. Okay. So can I switch with somebody in June? Is there anybody in June I can switch with?
You can bring
So-
me on the seventh.
On June the 7th? Okay. That'll work. Okay.
Cammy's
That'll
gonna
work,
pass
Because
something
that's
out
the end of
for us.
the school also.
But
Actually,
my brother sent something to me this morning and I wanted to share it with you because my brother is my brother. This is what it says. M is for the million things you gave through the years. O means only that you're growing older gracefully. T is for the tears you shed over the years, some happy and some sad. H is for your heart of purest gold and a hint of 10. E is for your eyes that exude love regardless. And R means right, and right you'll always be. Put them all together and they spell mother. Isn't that cute? Okay, so Tammy, you turn to the ladies, okay? It is. Right here, Mom. Right here, baby. Thank you. You wanna go help?
Something nice.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Did you get this one? Oh, that's another one.
Say happy Mother's Day.
Did you get one already?
Hayden, can you say happy Mother's Day?
Yeah.
Come here, Kate. Yes, they want to message you, that takes time to reply. So give that to Earl for Judy. That's for Judy.
I'll give that to her.
Have a happy Mother's Day, everybody.
Thank you so much. I love it. All right.
We can change. Okay.
And that's what we need to do next Mother's Day. No.
Oh, it's like, like that. Well, if you, everybody's busy talking right now. So you-
What's that? Happy Mother's Day. She's done much better. So she goes on Wednesdays to have a student, but it's just a outfit. She's
We're all celebrating this together. Yeah, I like it when it's fun.
Especially when the mother-in-law and daughter, you know, are against the
I'll look at it a little bit, give me a second.
But I got two more like it.
Maybe we can take it home together.
Okay, see you guys.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yes, yes. Yes, yes. Thank you, Oh, that's right.
Yeah. It's your order. Okay. And I'm working. So that's not.
You got them.
I messed up, couldn't get started early, so they owed me out.
Yeah. I had it, I was saying it's like, I was up there going,
What is
you
it?
did the talking, so I got the two back in my head, I'll get the two back, that's good.
I couldn't find it.
Hold them.
I had yeah. Yeah.
The taco folds in a different way. How come that's okay?
Yeah.
Very handy. That's free. More like. Brand new, expensive, $30. So I didn't have to wait for my chair. So I helped the guy. That wasn't even fair, right? I got it. The whole thing. So I.
We're gonna have more clocks. Yeah. Is that that big one that you have?
I didn't get
Hey, my birthday's same year's Paul. I always cheated.
Is everybody doing a DK or is that?
I'm going.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know.
It's a good thing. So he forgot.
That's right.
Yeah, I make no mistake doing that. Combination. You do have a good way.
I know. I think you've been missing Junior.
She did right.
I remember to grab the money. I go, I can remember the money. I looked at it and it didn't dawn on me that I had it too. I think I got your other thing too. Black case.
Oh, yeah.
It's in my case at school. I looked great this morning.
Because that's what they were gonna put stuff in, so I can pick it up every Sunday after church.
You get a place
You're gonna do the train, huh? That sounds really nice.
Forgot about this.
Is it gonna be here?
This was in Texas, called Sunday on Cape by
We'll go over there and we'll celebrate other things.
There's something in here you want to say.
Oh, he's right.
Legal? I gave him that copy that you
Well, I
made.
was gonna show you something.
Oh.
There's all my
They probably got one of the big plans from grandma.
Yeah. Oh, found it.
But that was, see, that was the deepest one.
Yeah. They got her as much as they got. It's the wind.
Yes. Well, that took the building. Are we taking this home with us?
Yes. I gotta bring it back in, but I thought there's screaming on the back corner.
Okay, very good. I'll put it all in here. Get it home safely.
Yeah, why not?
So everything.
Very good. Yeah. Yes. Are we ready?
You know what we need more, don't you think? At our church camp, I'm the sound. Oh, hey, I bet at church camp. Yeah, they're really don't. Talking about that. Favorite wedding. Yeah, sound in there. I agree. Yes.
Somehow I get popped out of that.
Okay, grab this. And this, and this, and that. Got it. You scared me of copy. Yeah, I guess we'll Fred, Dorothy, the DQ. That's it. Good call.
But he gets, for those that Shelby program,
Yeah.
you get emailed when they withdraw. And so these were, he received this email for the ones that were withdrawn the last time we did them, the different amounts. And so he prints those out and we just, that's just so you can verify, you know,
Oh, okay.
if the amounts are correct that they took out and stuff like that. So this just comes from World Church through an email.
You still gotta get me.
I get you on Shelby, and
For my-
that's one of the things.
For my.
You gotta do the request for it.
I have to?
You have to do the request. I can't request it for you. But you go on there, but you say, you put me down as a mission center person to okay it. And so,
Okay.
That works with that. I think I did. I got to do Dorothea too, get her to do it. I'll have to walk her through it. But I think if you go on the church website and look on Shelby and put down that you could be the financial office CFO for Harlingen, and I'll try to remember to call them Monday. Let me send myself an email. It's the only way I remember things. I'm still recording here.